Welcome to One Man at a Time, the KEMEN Show. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
The KEMEN Show. We are strong together.
Radio, it's another beautiful Saturday. I think this is a good day. The Lord has blessed us, and we are going to be having a good show today. And I can see our own Dr. MUNYUA here. Is all ready and set to go. Welcome to Diaspora Media Max Radio. This is a wellness and health show presented to you by KEMEN. KEMEN, we are reaching one man at a time in diaspora. It's an organization for men who reaches up men in diaspora and help them with issues they may have or they may be facing here in diaspora. Check them out online and on Facebook. KEMEN is KENMEN. Check them out, and we welcome you in Diaspora Media Max Radio. You can reach us on Facebook, is Diaspora Media Max, and you can reach us on YouTube. YouTube channel is Diaspora Media Max also, and also you can reach us on our online. You can listen right there. It's www.diasporamediamax.com, and also you can download our app. Is DM Max, DM and then MAX Radio, DM MAX Radio app, and you'll be able to listen to us live also there. And we welcome you on Facebook. We welcome all viewers from all over the world. Welcome to Diaspora Media Max, and this is Wellness and Health Show presented to you by KEMEN. Alice, how was your weekend? How are you doing today? And I know you have prepared a very good topic for us today, because this is New Year, and the New Year comes with New Year resolutions. So what are your New Year resolutions, and are you going to meet them? And did you meet your last year's resolution that you made the first week of the 2020? I know 2020 was a tough year. I did not meet all my goals, but this year seems to be a good year because you got a corona vaccine, and I'm looking forward to a great year. But did you meet your goals for the last year? Are you going to make goals that you can reach for this year? I know most of the people set goals for something we're gonna talk about today, and how are they going to achieve them? How are they going to do that to achieve that? And how is it being done? I did set for 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I achieved all my goals on whatever you're going to be talking about today. But 2020, oh, it came with something else. Anyway, Alice, tell us how you are doing. How's your week, and what you have for us?
Okay. So Happy New Year. If you didn't join us last week, please go back and listen to our topic from last week. My week has been great. The weekend is coming along, and I am doing great. So this is Happy New Year, and I know most people have been setting up goals for the new year. Mm-hmm. Most of the goals that people set is to make more money, advance in their career, and to lose weight. Yeah. So we talked about your life's purpose last week. And just to cap up on that, because I need to cap up, I say, and you need to go back and listen to it, because everybody has a life purpose.
Yep.
So people who struggle with finding jobs, there's something that you're not doing that you probably should be doing. And some of the clues to finding your purpose is anything that breaks your heart. I did not talk about breaking your heart. When you see a situation and your heart breaks, you feel like you want to cry. That is a clue to what your purpose in life is.
Yep.
Things that make you angry, things that you complain about, those are clues. So, but today we're going to talk about weight management, because
that's a new year goal to most of the people. They say this year gonna lose 5 pounds, this year gonna lose 10 pounds. My goal this year is actually to lose about 5. So the most stubborn one is on my stomach. I don't know what happened on my belly. That one's stubborn and never goes away no matter what I do. But I hope one day maybe today gonna get my answer here, and I'll be able to lose that stubborn belly fat that never goes away.
But Alex, just looking at you, I'm thinking you don't need to change anything. You look fit. You look good. I don't need to change anything. I reached my weight goal, would say about 7 years ago. So this topic is dear and very close to my heart, because I struggled with weight also for 15 years, I would say. When I was living in Africa, I never gained weight. I was healthy. I actually felt stronger. When I came to America, I started feeling as if some of the things I used to be able to do, I could not do. Like, lift heavy weights. I kind of felt like my body was getting weaker. But then actually everything turned upside down when I started having children. So most people gain weight as they get older. Most women gain weight after they get pregnant. So we're going to talk about all of it. Because it is a topic that is misunderstood most of the time. And our topic today is actually obesity. So it is when your BMI is really very high. It's above 30, body mass index. And I'll tell you exactly how to calculate it. It's very easy. You can go online, you can find a calculator, plug in your weight and your height, and it will tell you what your BMI is. So if your BMI is greater than 30, you're obese. And most people, when they hear the word obese, so many things come to their mind, or when you see somebody who is actually obese walking down the road, you start judging them. Most people get judged right off the gate, and you don't even know their history. So some of the things that people think about when you hear the word obesity, you think about people who are not exercising,
That's why
people who eat unhealthy foods, people who eat too much food, people who are lazy, people who lack personal responsibility, like they can't take care of their body, people who lack discipline. Those are the judgments that go on. But I'm telling you today, after today, whenever you see somebody who is overweight, you're going to stop judging them. Because obesity, it's very, very complex. And there's a science to it. And the science just doesn't involve food and exercise. It is much more than that. Yeah. Actually, when you start hearing people, and anytime people go to the doctor, they always get sent to the dietitian. Go speak with the dietitian and they'll tell you what to eat. The obesity is not a food issue. I know most people are surprised to hear that. This is not a nutritional issue. So let's define obesity. To see, so obesity, it is a result of when the body is storing too much fat. So it's a fat storage problem. Because we talked about BMI, but BMI is actually not a specific indicator for obesity, but for most part, it is. Because we have big guys who are athletic, like heavyweight boxers, wrestlers who are big guys. Yeah. And if you plugged in their weight and their height, they will be above 30, but mostly they don't have fat. They have muscle. And that's different. So we're talking about, for most part, obesity, BMI works. Because most people are not athletic. Most people have fat storage instead of muscle. And you can actually tell that if you just feel your body, you pinch your arm and it feels soft. You pinch your butt and it doesn't feel a little bit hard. It's fat. If it feels soft, it is fat. But if it feels firm, it is muscle. So that's another way. But you can go to the doctor and ask them to actually test your fatness. So, okay, with that said, what causes obesity? The causes of obesity. And this is what is going to surprise you, because it's a combination of inherited factors. And anytime you hear me say the word inherited, you already know what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm thinking a spiritual root. Yeah. Combined with environmental factors, combined with personal diet, and of course, exercise. But the exercise and the diet, you're looking at just half the picture. The big picture is on the things that we don't think about, the things that we don't see them. Those are the inherited factors and the environmental factors. So this is not a nutritional problem, and it's very, very complex. And even though you might see, people who are obese, they are kind of slow. They don't exercise. They just sit and just do the minimum they have to do. They're eating a lot. You're only looking at half the picture. You're looking at a very small part of the problem. So obesity is diagnosed when you go to the doctor and they tell you your BMI is greater than 30 or is 30 and above. You are obese. So there are some other people who are morbid obesity. That's when your BMI is over 40. And believe me, I've seen BMIs of 60. And I've never seen one of 70. But I'm sure there are, because we used to see on TV my 600-pound life.
And 600 people, 600 people.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, and that was one show that I could not watch. I felt pain in my heart when I saw these people. I could not watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I felt pain is because I knew this was not a food issue. Even though they were drinking like sodas, they were drinking like this 2-liter bottles, and now just one in a day. Because I knew there was a spiritual root to everything that you see. And to me, it cured me to see what the things that they were talking about, and also the treatment they were suggesting for the people. Mm-hmm. So that broke my heart. So let's talk about BMI for a minute. If your BMI is below 18.5, you are underweight. So a BMI of 16, 17, you need to gain a little bit more weight to be healthy. A BMI of 20 to 29, that is overweight. And a BMI greater than 30 is obesity. BMI greater than 40 is morbid obesity. So what is the normal BMI? Alex, if your BMI is not above this, you're fine.
Let me hear the shock.
Okay, 18.5 to 24.9, which is like 25. So 18.5 to 25, your normal weight.
Okay.
And you always calculate. You don't calculate by age. You always calculate by how tall you are, how much you weigh, and how tall you are. So to calculate your BMI, you need to convert your height into inches. Well, no, in America, I think we do height in inches. And we need to convert the pounds, because in America we do pounds. In other parts of the world, we do kilograms. Mm-hmm. So you need to convert the pounds into kilograms and then divide it by your height. And there goes your BMI. It's very simple, but you can go on the computer and actually look for a calculator and just do it. So let's talk about this fat storage problem. Because obesity is a fat storage problem. It's not a muscle storage problem. It is a fat. Mm-hmm. So what causes it? And like we touched a little bit on it, I said this is a complex health issue. And it's also a very misunderstood health issue.
I think misunderstood is the worst here.
Mm-hmm. It's misunderstood, and we judge people. Mm-hmm. Not knowing what their history is, not knowing who they are, and we judge them. And after today, don't do that. So genetics is involved. So as you heard me, I say that anytime you hear genetics, put in spiritual roots. But that doesn't mean that you've done something bad. Mm-hmm. It don't mean that you're less faithful, that you don't believe in God. It don't mean any of that. Because when people hear me talk about spiritual stuff, they think I'm judging them, and I'm not. But that's a root, and that's the biggest root. It just means that you've been a victim of something. Okay. So from now on, don't think judgment. Think about victim. You've been a victim, and as long as you understand what the root is, you can overcome this. So that's the beauty of it. So there is also behavior. But anytime you hear the word behavior, behaviors come from somewhere. Sometimes we learn them. Sometimes we hang around people who are doing things and they influence us. Mm-hmm. So anytime you hear behavior, think mental. Always plug in a mental issue, a psychological issue there. Mm-hmm. Because if you truly are a man of your own, if you have control of your mind, people around you should not be able to influence you. So if you hang around people who don't eat healthy, people who don't exercise, they should not be able to influence you. And if they are influencing you, you know to walk away. You can't just go into bad habits because other people are doing them. So anytime, so we're talking about causes of obesity here. So anytime you hear behavior, think about mental and psychological problems. So, but then now we get to more complicated stuff here. There is also a metabolic disorder going on. And metabolic disorder are connected to the genetics. There is also a hormonal imbalance going on. And a hormonal imbalance is connected to either something mental, or something genetic. And you know, every time you hear me say genetic, plug in spiritual. All right. There could also be a chemical imbalance going on. So that's why I'm saying there's a science behind obesity, and it's very complex.
So it's not about not eating and not exercising and eating too much. It's a complex issue more than that.
Yes, and thinking that we can actually overcome this problem with diet and exercise, that is kindergarten stuff. That is things you learn in kindergarten. It's not true. And thinking that you can actually also fix this problem with your willpower, you know, your ability to stick on a diet and a regular exercise, you're also fooling yourself. And that's why it is so difficult for people to lose weight, because really it requires much more than willpower. It requires much more than diet and exercise. And most people are clueless about this. Even when people who are obese, they don't realize this. I know one woman who realized it after, and actually today she has a big, huge, it's also, it's a motivational kind of counseling company. She lives in New York. I'm not going to mention her name, but she's written several books. And she used to be obese from the time she was a child. And she went to college, got married, and she never quite connected. At some point, she had lost weight like 100 times and also gained it. She would lose it and gain it back. And when you see that, you always know there's issues. When you see somebody who is losing a lot of weight and gaining it back, deep issues. So, and then at some point she said, either I stop dieting or I kill myself. That's where she was. So some people do have suicidal thoughts about this. And the minute she stopped dieting, she sought other ways of dealing with this. And actually she had to go on a spiritual journey. And that's how she was able to connect her weight.
I'm kind of curious to know how she connected with the spirit on her spiritual journey.
Where she went on a spiritual journey to find out the root cause. And now she counsels people. She's a spiritual counselor today. So, but it had come to that point. She was gonna kill herself. She said, either I stop this or I kill myself. And with her issue was a little bit different, but we're gonna touch on all that. And everybody's issue is also different.
Because
who
work so hard, they lose weight, they lose it all, and then 1 year or so down the line, they start gaining it and they gain it all back. And they try to go back on a diet, and it's not changing.
It's not changing. And we've seen even on celebrities who have a lot of money and they have all the help they can get. I mean, they can get a cook who cooks them delicious food, a chef. They can even hire a chef. They can hire a personal trainer. You see them going on those yo-yo diets. And that's when you realize this is not a case of willpower. It's not diet or exercise. There is much more to obesity than meets the eye. So we're still talking about causes. So for most part, if you go to the doctor, they always look at the diet and they always say, oh, you're consuming too many calories and you're not expanding all that energy. But actually, that's not true. There are some people who eat healthy. They exercise and they are still fat and they can't figure it out. This is where, remember I said this is a fat storage problem. Your body can actually make fat. Most people don't know that.
That's my problem. I diet and exercise.
Alex, we'll have to talk about your problem at some point in time. Because, but maybe today, maybe I might say something today that or next week, because actually we're gonna break this down. We will break it down, but eventually we're gonna get to that spiritual root. Where that spiritual root comes from, I will break it down next week, because this is a big topic, and I had to divide it into two in order to cover all the bases. So, we're still talking about your body can actually make fat. Your liver can make fat. We know your liver can make cholesterol. So the question we should be asking is, why is your body behaving like this? There is always a reason. There is always a root cause. So some people think that the body is misbehaving, but your body will never misbehave. Your body follows the laws of nature. And those laws of nature are determined. Our body behaves the same. There is a reason why it's making excess fat. Most of the reason is because it's fighting. This is a body at war. Anytime you find your body making extra cholesterol, and most of the cholesterol that we actually deal with, the cholesterol that and I figured we talked about this last week, right? Yeah. I figured there are some people who knew this, but somehow they forgot to teach us. Whether they forgot to teach us this or they actually left it out, I do not know. But they know that your liver makes cholesterol, because some of the new drugs, like the statins, they target the liver, and they know exactly how this process happens. But they didn't teach us that. We always say people being put on statins, and then they're told to eat a low-fat diet. And the diet that we eat really is not even causing the problem.
What?
No, your liver is causing the problem. Your liver is what's making the cholesterol. There is a reason why your liver is making extra cholesterol. And so the drugs that they have, they target the liver. They target that process. Why didn't they tell us that?
Yeah, why they can tell us, hey, it's your liver that's making cholesterol because of A, B, C, D, and if you can stop A, B, C, D, or we can help you stop A, B, C, D. We can make your liver stop making too much cholesterol, and you don't need a pill.
I know. So you can figure it out. But once you know that your liver is making extra cholesterol, the question we should be asking is why? Because there is always a reason. So when I say that our bodies make fat, the question we should be asking is why? Why is your body making extra fat that you don't need?
But the extra is the problem.
The reason why your body is doing this is because this is a body which is at war. There is a war going on inside. And I mentioned something about spiritual law, and I say that the body never misbehaves. And the other thing the body can do, it cannot lie. Our bodies don't know to lie, because this is a shell. What you're looking at is a shell. This body is just the shell that houses my spirit and my soul. It is not me. Although, when you take a picture of me, people will tell you, oh, yeah, that's her. But this is not the true me. This is just the physical part of me that you see. And this body has no ability to lie. So there is something going on that's making the body behave like that. And I mentioned a little bit about natural laws. This is also affect our immune system. Sometimes I hear the doctors, when you have a hyperactive immune system, some doctors say that the immune system is making a mistake. There is no such a thing. The immune system is not making a mistake. There is a reason. Yeah. There is a reason why it's doing that. So what is the reason? The reason is because this body is in a fight-fright reaction. That is the only language that our bodies understand. When you have peace of mind, everything will behave normally.
Wow.
Your body is not going to make extra fat. When you have peace of mind, your immune system is going to be normal. It will be healthy. It will behave right. So, but when you don't have peace of mind, your body senses war. There's war going on. So it's either I make enough energy to help you run away or fight the enemy. That is the only language that the body understands. So where is this trauma coming from? So if you see somebody who is making extra fat, extra cholesterol, there is something. some kind of trauma. The only thing, this trauma is suppressed. And that's why when I tell people that, like if I meet somebody who has high blood pressure, they think it's the salt that they're eating that's making their blood pressure go up. And I'm like, no.
That's not to be true.
Yeah. I just think, oh, I need to lose weight. Then I will have, my blood pressure will be fine. I actually have a nurse friend of mine, who, when she went to have her second baby, her blood pressure was sky high. And she said, I need to lose weight. This is a nurse now who has a PhD also. She said, I need to lose weight so my blood pressure can calm down. At the time, I kind of quite didn't understand. And she lost the weight and her blood pressure didn't come down. Yeah. So that's why you know something else is going on. And now I might know what the issue is because her family, there's a family history of all that. So it might be coming from inherited stuff, but it could also be coming from some mental stuff. And the only way for me to know is to talk to her so I can find out what's going on in her life, her family life, her family history, and all that. Let me give you a little stats on obesity because this is a public health problem. Obesity is. Statistics on obesity: over 600 million people worldwide suffer from obesity. This is a BMI of over 30.
You got a million people.
600 million people worldwide. And I'm sure in some parts, maybe some parts of Africa and other parts of the world, they probably don't even have the numbers. These are the only numbers they know. And we know not everybody seeks medical care. In America alone, 2 out of 3 adults, that's 2/3 of the population. Yeah. When it comes to children, 1 out of 3 children.
People are obese in America.
Well, there's a lot going on in America. Yeah. And you know, this is where we think this is the land of milk and honey.
No.
1 out of 3 children is overweight. This is in America now. When it comes to the Black Americans, 45% of the population is overweight. Serious problem. Big public health crisis. So this, on the surface, it looks like a food issue, but it's deeper than that.
Food issue.
Yeah, it's not a food issue. So for most people, when they come to the doctor, the doctor will measure whatever, give you the diagnosis of obesity, and then they ask you, what are you eating? So we need to change the conversation. That should not be an accurate question. It should not be the question we should be asking. Yeah, what we should be asking is, what's eating you? Not what you're eating.
What's eating you?
What is eating you? Because something is. Now we're going to talk about risk factors of obesity according to textbook. Some of them are true, some are not. And whatever is true, I will tell you. Whatever is not, I will tell you. Like I've been down this road before. So I actually wrote a book about this. The book is called Do Like Your Grandma Did, A Guide to Clean Healthy Eating. Once I figured it out, my weight loss I lost close to 50 pounds. Actually, it was 49, but I allowed it off to 50 in 5.5 weeks. And I had tried before for many years.
You lost 50 pounds? Wow.
And I've kept it off since 2013. And now it's 2021. Yeah.
If people want to come here and hear what you're talking about, but how much did you spend to do that?
It was actually, and everything that happened was by accident, but it didn't take me long. And if you read my book, Do Like Your Grandma Did, after I had done everything, I looked back on what I had done and I said, oh my God. Back home in Kenya, and I told you, when I came here, I used to be a perfect, I was just skinny and tall. I looked good. I never gained weight when I was in Kenya. I did exactly what my grandma was doing. So it wasn't complicated. I looked back and I said, that was easy. Why couldn't I get this before? And that's what prompted me to writing the book. But then I hit a snag. And I'll talk about the snag in a few minutes. So let's talk about the risk factors. Because after I wrote the book, I started teaching other people how to do it. And I could see people were struggling. And actually, I was only able to help one person in a period of 6 months lose 20 pounds. Nobody else lost weight. That's when I started thinking something is wrong. Something is wrong. And the people I had tried, because I was having meetings at my house like twice a week, different groups. I started thinking something is wrong. The number one something that hit me was that people knew what to eat. People knew what to do. Why weren't they losing weight? That was the question. And when I found it out, I was shocked. So, risk factors of obesity. We talked about the genes. We talked about genes you inherit from your parents, and they can affect the way your body stores fat, the way your body manufactures that. But we know genes are more complicated than we know. So that doesn't mean that you are a sinner or your family is a sinner. That's why you have this. It just means you've been victims, and you need to understand that part, because that's not a part that science talks about. They don't even understand. They will tell you something is genetic, and that's the end of the story. So yeah,
they don't tell you how can I fix this problem.
No, they don't. Anytime you hear something is genetic, it's like a death sentence. It's like you can't change your genes. But yes, you can. You absolutely can. Okay. So let's see. Obesity tends to run in families. There are some families, they're just obese. And they eat healthy, but they're just obese. That's when you know something is cooking in there. But sometimes you might see bad eating habits, but it's not always the case. So when you think about habits, always think mental thoughts, behaviors, and habits. Because when you get hooked in bad behavior, you will see it becomes a habit, but it originates from your thoughts. And what are thoughts? Thoughts are actually spiritual seeds. So, with that said, there is only 4 things that we inherit. 4 things that we inherit from our parents. Those are blessings, curses, habits, and behaviors.
Those habits and behaviors.
Yes. Okay, so we're still talking about risk factors. We covered the genes, and we know that, yes, you can inherit the genes, but according to spiritual laws, curses, and blessings. So if you have obesity that is going to affect your health, what do you think that is? Is it a curse or is it a blessing?
The curse.
So, other risk factors are unhealthy diets. That's what our textbook says, but that we say that's just a small part of the big picture. Liquid calories. Some people who drink like sodas and sweets and stuff. And by the way, it almost seems like a craving. They feel better when they do this. Anytime you see them, it means they have low dopamine. And that's why obesity tends to go along with depression. Dopamine level. Dopamine is it's a neurochemical that your brain makes. And when it's low, you're going to crave sweet stuff, because sweet stuff make you feel good. So dopamine gives you energy. It is supposed to be, it also makes you feel good. But it's coming from a spiritual root. And I'm not going to talk about that, because some people, if I start talking about it, some people will definitely go on the deep end. They will feel judged. And that's not my intention.
Is it not good to go and tell them and have them make their own informed decision?
It is, but I can't do it here because I don't have enough time to be able to prepare them. And for what? But we saw that obesity is very complex. So I'm just talking about different risk factors. I would have to know someone and then prepare them before I tell them what the spiritual root is. So, and this is where I say, get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook, and I will definitely reply to your message. Inactivity, that is sedentary lifestyle, is another risk factor. But when you see somebody who is lazy, and actually laziness, if it's true laziness, sometimes they might have medical condition that's making them not be able to exercise or move a lot. But if they're just lazy, that is a spiritual problem. And laziness is one of the 7 deadly sins. So that's one spiritual root I will not hesitate telling you. If it's just pure laziness, we have a problem here. So other things, certain diseases like Prader-Willis syndrome. And at some point, maybe when I need to come back and discuss childhood obesity, because this is where you see this problem. This syndrome, anytime you hear the word syndrome, it means that they don't really know what's causing it. I would come back because this is a serious problem. And people who have this, they have to lock up refrigerators. You can't live like this. They lock up food because the children, it mainly affects children. They will.
One thing I found fascinating is that when Michelle Obama tried to fight with this, she get a lot of objection.
Yeah, well, she did, but that's just politics. But whatever Michelle Obama was actually telling us to drink skim milk, it don't work. It's not the skim milk that's causing the problem. Okay. And like I keep saying, it's not a nutritional problem. Probably, maybe some of the people who just wanted to give her a hard time were opposition, because there always be 2 sides to a story, so they just wanted to give her a hard time. But at the same time, people who know this, they know it's not a nutritional problem. So, and actually that reminds me that I used to have a patient, I used to work in the outpatient clinic, and one mom came and said, I don't like what Michelle Obama did, because my child cannot drink that skim milk. My child, every time my child drinks, they vomit. And I actually had to write a prescription for them to get whole milk. So that tells you something. And I had to laugh about that one. But this is not a nutritional problem. Cushing syndrome, that's another one that causes obesity. Arthritis, and we have different types of arthritis. Most times when you see arthritis, you will see osteoarthritis. That might make people not feel like exercising because they are in pain. But also that one, it has a root, and actually it is a spiritual root. All these diseases are connected. They are all connected. Okay, certain medication. We are still talking about risk factors of obesity. When you take certain medication like antidepressants, and you know, depression is the common code of mental illness. Depression is the #1 cause of disability in the world. So, but depression, all mental illness is spiritually rooted. I know this because I've been there. You know, I give examples with myself.
There's some people who say I differ with that, but what we have done so far in this program is that most of the diseases are pretty much mental, spiritual, and most of them actually doesn't need to be treated with a pill. It actually needs to be treated by changing pretty much your spirit, your soul.
Yeah. Lifestyle. It's lifestyle. But when we talk about lifestyle, we are talking about spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, and physical health. But honestly, if you have emotional health, all these other things will be in order.
Emotional, spiritual.
Yeah. So you can ask me. I mean, anybody can challenge me. All mental illness is caused by spiritual problems. Ask me. I've been diagnosed with bipolar, and I tell my story. And actually, my book is coming out on that.
Medication, if you don't mind me asking.
What's the question again?
Did you get prescribed bipolar medication?
Yes, I did. I was prescribed Cyprexa.
How long are you taking it?
I only took it for 1 week. At this point, I already knew what the problem was. So I took it for 1 week because they forced me to. But when I got out, and it's in my book, I went to the doctor, and within like a month, the doctor had discontinued all medication, and they said I wasn't crazy. But at this point, I already knew what was wrong. And so this is personal for me. And I can tell you all these diseases that we are dealing with, we are not treating them properly. We give people pills and we send them on home, and they don't get the care that they need. And these things are either mentally rooted, and all mental illness is spiritually rooted. So there you go. Mental illness, for most part, is caused by your thoughts. If it's not being caused by your thoughts, there's a deeper spiritual root, like inheritance. And that's more complicated. So I would have to tell people, if anybody really wants to go deeper into this to understand why you're struggling with some of the things you're struggling with, just hit me up, because it's time consuming and I can't do a good job, here within an hour. But I'm giving you I'm planting seeds to tell you that the way we do mental health, well, not just mental health, the way we do sickness and diseases, it's we are only treating symptoms.
We are not the root cause of the problem.
Disease management, but we are not going to the root cause. So if you want to know what the root cause is, get in touch with me. I will show you. And so you can heal. So eventually we'll have good news. Okay, so medications that cause people to gain weight: antidepressants, anti-seizures. Alex, we did seizures here before, and we agreed that is actually, seizures are the easiest things to fix, but they have spiritual roots, direct spiritual roots. And it's the easiest thing. Forget about depression. Seizures are the easiest things to fix. Diabetic medicine. Diabetic medication causes weight gain. And type 2 diabetes, for most part, is a systemic inflammatory disease. But type 1 diabetes is endocrine disease. So type 1 diabetes is only affecting your pancreas, but they all have spiritual roots. Antipsychotics, other drugs, like the drug that they had given me, because my story is really interesting. That is not something I would want to go through again, but I went through it. And maybe the reason why I was going through it is so I can tell you about it. Because once you've gone through something, you become a better teacher. You have experienced what you're talking about. So and I can tell you, I only took the medication for 1 week. And now if you ask me anything, schizophrenia, what causes schizophrenia? How do you fix it? I can tell you, because I understand it. So antipsychotic drugs, they do cause weight gain. Steroids are anti-inflammatory. They do cause weight gain, and we see people who have allergic rhinitis, asthma, other inflammatory diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. They do get steroids. Beta blockers, they cause weight gain. Beta blockers are given for heart issues, high blood pressure. They do cause weight gain. And all these diseases, they all come from the same place.
Same spiritual
place, including obesity. So socio-economic factors. Now, socio-economic factors that cause obesity, this is interesting. Some of them are true. So economic factors that cause obesity, say if you live in a neighborhood that's poor, and we see this with African Americans who live in the projects. Like when I was in New York, they used to have these highlights projects. Where all the people who were on this, what did they call it? Social Security, SSI.
And Section 8.
Yeah. And those were not safe neighborhoods. They were drug-infested neighborhoods. So if you...
And rats and crickets and cockroaches.
Cockroaches and asthma and whatnot. Yeah. So they found that people who live in those neighborhoods tend to be obese. But actually, that's only half the story. It's not the economic factor. It is the safety factor. They don't feel safe walking in the streets. They think they're going to be shot. Stray bullets have been known to cause injuries to people. So and actually it's scary. Let me tell you, I've been to those projects. When I was a nurse, we used to do home health care, and I've been to the projects, and I'm telling you, there are some sites there that are scary. You just go, the way people look at you, the way people are just hanging around doing nothing, idle. And idleness is the workshop of the devil. You can just sense it. You don't even have to be told. You just sense that it's not safe.
I've been
So
to Prospect Avenue, I've been to Paseo in Kansas City, and you don't want to be, you just walk on those neighborhoods, and the way they even know every single car on the street. You stop on the stop sign, they know you are new, and you become a victim.
So there is a lot of harassment that goes on in those neighborhoods, and people live in fear. And the fear, remember the fight-fright reaction that I said can cause metabolic syndrome? When you live in a neighborhood where you're always watching your back, you don't feel safe.
Oh, and that note, if you are stuck on a job like that, you're always on your toes. Same thing gonna happen.
Yes. Oh, a job that you don't like. You will have a metabolic syndrome. So then the social effects, this is where we were talking about having friends and families who don't eat healthy, have bad habits. There is a Kikuyu saying that says that mushera na mukodo akodo kagotaguo. So hanging around people with bad habits can influence you. And this one, the Bible says, if you find that you're hanging out with a fool, the best thing for you is to pack up and leave. And you can figure out when you're hanging out with a fool. They talk foolishness, they do foolish things. So don't keep that kind of company. Get away from them. Then the book talked about age. They say as we get older, we have hormonal changes and our activity level goes down. This is true. It sounds true, but it's actually not true. As we get older, our need for food actually diminishes. Teenagers need more food and children, because they are growing. Once we are all grown, we don't need as much food. And most people, if you have peace of mind, you'll find that food will be the least thing that you worry about. Like these days, if I'm traveling, and maybe these days I don't even feel a need to pack a snack. I do bring water with me, and I don't feel the desire to stop at a fast food. That is like the last thing on my mind. And if I go to a fast food now, by the way, when I lost weight, my taste buds change. Because if you eat healthy for a period of time, most people say 30 days, I would say a good 3 months, your taste buds are going to change. When you eat something sweet that you used to crave, it don't taste good anymore. And isn't that cool to eat healthy because your taste buds have changed? Yeah. Now, if I go to a fast food, that food doesn't smell good anymore to me. The smell change, the taste change. So I don't have any desire for it.
So you're gonna be queuing up on Popeyes for 3 hours waiting for a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. I couldn't do that, and I haven't done that in six years. After I lost weight, I tried to go to a fast food one time, and the food actually made me sick.
This one place I stopped going, and I don't have no desires, zero desires whatsoever. And if we can start serving healthy foods in those fast food restaurants, I know it's kind of expensive, but we can give a healthy choice, because they can come up with a healthy choice instead of a $1 burger, $1 this, which is loaded with too much chemicals and calories. And as we factor in the socioeconomics, these things are pretty much located in poor neighborhoods and in the cities. And that's why when we combine all the socioeconomic factors, health factors of people, minorities living in certain neighborhoods, that's where we have we said 45% of African Americans pretty much are obese. That's a very huge number, because pretty much almost every other person is obese, and there are so many factors. Not just that they are eating these foods, not just that they are eating healthy choices. One thing, the healthy choices, the food that they're being presented with, based on their socioeconomic, is unhealthy food to begin with. They are going through a lot of stress. They are living in neighborhoods that are chaotic. They are pretty much constantly exposed to stress, which actually, in other words, it is eating them from the inside and making their body to produce more excess fat, that their body is storing excess fat, waiting to fight something, which is a constant fear and constant stress.
exactly right, Alex. So that's why I was saying, instead of asking somebody what's eating you, you should be asking what's eating them. So we talked about age. So age is not true, because if that were true, all old people would be obese, right? But they are not. Pregnancy. Now this is where my story begins.
Pregnant. Listen now,
Yeah. Most people gain weight during pregnancy. I have 2 kids. With my first daughter, I gained 60 pounds. Now, you gotta know that is crazy.
60.
60 pounds. I just wanted to eat. But after she was born, 10 months, I had lost it all of it. With my second baby, I gained 64 pounds. And after the baby was born, I didn't lose anything.
Oh, wow.
I kept it, and I even gained more. So that's where my story begins. But actually, I did not realize. I knew my life was under a lot of stress. You talked about stress, Alex. But I did not know that was causing me to gain weight. And I talk about this in my next book, where I talk about mental illness. It's coming out soon, and I'll let you know as soon as it's out. We are doing cosmetic things right now to fix it out. I talk about that journey in there. Because I kept the weight for 15 years.
Wow.
But when I lost it, I figured it was really easy to lose it. And I say, wow, I found people struggle. You know, people are on a diet all the time. They are spending all this money on diet supplements and everything.
Diet and all this sort of diet doctor, this diet doctor, whose diet doctor, that diet. Do they really need all that?
I said, I can help people lose weight. I can show them exactly what I did. And I started showing people, and man, people were struggling. And that's when I knew there was something else. So pregnancy was where my story started. Now, they do say that if you quit smoking, most people who quit smoking, they gain weight. But that's because of that desire to put something in their mouth. So they eat more. But smoking, we've talked about smoking before here.
Yeah.
When you see somebody smoking, there is a spiritual root to smoking. Now we are dealing with addiction here. So either they put a cigarette in their mouth, or they put food, one or the other. So it's still a symptom of something deeper. Lack of sleep. Now we are talking about my story. Lack of sleep. I was not sleeping much after my second baby. And things went downhill after that. And man, I just kept the weight. So not sleeping enough can cause hormonal changes and appetite changes. So that one is true. Stress. Alex, you mentioned stress. Many external factors, like living in a neighborhood that is not safe. You don't feel safe there. You're being harassed. Children are being harassed. It's going to affect your mood and your well-being, and it can contribute to obesity. So it's very, very stressful. And people who are under stress, they are at war. When you have stress, your body is fighting to stay sane. You will eat more because it's demanding, it's needing that energy, but you're not fighting with anything, you know? So that energy will end up being stored as fat, because really you're not fighting anything. If the mental battle is in your mind. So yeah, so that's part of my story also, stress. I had a mental war going on. And you know, if you don't know how to fight mental wars properly, there's a spiritual problem going on. Because if we knew how to fight mental wars, if we had spiritual health, which I did not have, I would have known how to fight this. There are some things that I did to actually contribute to the problem. And if I had spiritual health, I probably would not have ended up there. But that is my journey. And my journey is really good because I overcame. And now I can help other people who are struggling with stuff like that overcome. Another thing that the book talks about causing obesity is your microbiome. You've heard about your gut bacteria, right? Your gut bacteria can cause changes in appetite and also contribute to weight gain. And that is true. But your microbiome is bacteria. You hear about the brain-gut connection, right? So people talk about your gut being your second brain. So this is true. But also, if you have peace of mind, your microbiome will be healthy. and it will not be affecting your weight gain or your weight loss. So they do say that it can make it difficult when you're having that problem. It can make it difficult for you to lose weight, even when you exercise. But that's because the peace of mind is lacking.
I have people who flush out their guts as if they're going to have colonoscopy and then take probiotics and then start over again.
Yeah, or they do cleansers. So that's temporary. Yeah, it's temporary. It's just like treatment. You're not getting to the root cause. You're just dealing with the symptoms again. You've seen this previous weight gain, yo-yo dieting. That lady I was talking about who has the big company that she trains people how to lose weight, she struggled with that. And at the end of her rope, she said, either I kill myself because I cannot diet again. Because she knew diet was not working and she was yo-yo dieting. We know famous people who have done that. So I'm gonna stop there for a minute because we will continue this topic next week. But before I finish, let me just tell you what we're gonna talk about next week. We're gonna talk about complications of obesity. We're gonna talk about how it affects quality of life. We're gonna talk about prevention, counseling, support groups. We're gonna talk about that. Because in whatever you do between now and then, if you're thinking about weight loss surgery, don't do it.
That's one thing I ask people, why do we still doing overweight loss surgeries? Because one, you're gonna open your body to some. I'm not a doctor. I'm a bedside nurse. I have seen it over and over and over again. I've seen people struggling with mental issues, struggling with spiritual issues, struggling back with weight gain after this, and struggling with electrolyte imbalance, being on constant multivitamins of this nature, of that nature, of this. You can. Why? I mean, I think if you can find out that it's not, obesity is much more than just a physical thing. It's not just your diet. You're not eating too much or you're not exercising enough. That's why you're obese. When you understand that part, you find out you don't need that weight loss surgery. You don't really need it because there's things you can change that can change your lifestyle and can change actually help you lose this weight. I don't recommend it either because I have seen struggles after those.
I don't. Obviously, you have your free will to do whatever you want with your doctor, but you've heard about doctrines of devils. This is one of them. Weight loss surgery, where you cut your stomach or do anything surgical to lose weight. Doctrines of devils. And that comes from
I have seen people. I cannot be honest. I've seen people who they say it worked great, but their lifestyle is way too much affected. They live in constant fear of, did I do this? Did I do this? I have to stick to this. I have to stick to this. I have to. Why do you have to subject yourself to all that?
Tune in next week. And also, Alex, you mentioned this before. There's a link between severe COVID-19 disease and obesity. So.
Okay, we're going to be talking about that next week. Pretty much our time is over. I think Moro Campus is coming up. Tune in for more. Stay tuned for Moro Campus. And I thank you all of your viewers on Facebook and all those who are listening to us on our app, DM Max Radio, and all those listening on our website, www.diasporamediamax.com. Thank you very much for watching us all over the world. This Wellness and Health Show presented to you by KEMEN. Thank you very much for your time. And we're going to be continuing this topic about obesity and weight management. It's New Year. People want to have New Year's resolution, and most people put a goal of losing weight. So come here. We're going to be talking about this, and we come here. We give you the advice we give you. You can choose take them, and actually we always tell you, encourage you, and tell you go discuss this with your primary care doctor or your specialty doctor and make an informed decision. We are not prescribers. We are just here to give you ideas and some kind of research our owner MUNYUA has done, and to help you and to guide you to talk more to your doctor about that. We believe in science. We support science. We support the doctors. We support the sciences. But although we differ with some things in science, and we give you much more the other side of the story, and we can help you make an informed decision. So we are not doctors, so take care and talk to your doctor before you make any decision. But we can tell you most of things people, they look like the topic we're talking about today, obesity, is not just lack of dieting, a lack of dieting and a lack of exercise. There's much more to it, and we have talked about a few, and they talk about socio-economic factors. We have talked about stress. We have talked about medications. We have talked about the other things like the other diseases like diabetes, Cushing syndrome. We are talking about so many other things that you don't even know that are causing towards your obesity, and why is your liver making this extra fat and extra cholesterol? Because it's always on fight mode. There's a war inside you, and if you can fight that war inside you and stop the war inside you, you're gonna stop this your liver from making excess fat, and actually we can stop with this obesity and some of autoimmune diseases. I'm gonna give you a last word, Alice.
Obviously. Thank you so much, Alex. If I can help anyone, to get in touch with me, you can call the radio station and ask for my number, or the easiest way is to just hit me up on Facebook.
Thank you very much. You can find her on Facebook, Alice MUNYUA, and she has a teaching academy where you can go learn about more diseases, and how you can also go learn about weight loss and the causes of obesity and the causes of overweight, and maybe she'll be able to help you. Until next Saturday, thank you very much. Moral Campus is up next. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to One Man at a Time, the KEMEN Show. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
The KEMEN Show. We are strong together.